Have you ever felt a sudden chill, a sense of being watched when no one is there? Or have you heard stories of dark entities, demonic forces that seem to haunt people's lives? What if I told you that many of these supposed paranormal encounters are not what they seem? What if they are illusions, manufactured by our own minds, or more chillingly, by the minds of others? We often look for external explanations for our deepest fears and anxieties. It's easier to blame a shadow in the corner than to confront the shadows within ourselves. This tendency to externalize our inner turmoil can be incredibly harmful. It distracts us from the real source of our distress and leaves us vulnerable, not to demons, but to psychological manipulation. As Carl Jung famously said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Today, we'll make that darkness conscious. We'll explore 7 psychological traps that masquerade as supernatural malevolence, revealing how our own minds can create the very demons we fear. Our journey begins with the first illusion, the specter of suggestion. This is when an idea planted by someone else grows in your mind like an invasive weed. Imagine a friend casually mentions that your new apartment has a weird vibe. Suddenly, every creak of the floorboards, every flicker of a light becomes proof of a ghostly presence. This is the power of suggestion at work. Your mind, influenced by that initial seed of doubt, begins to actively search for evidence to confirm the fear. It's a psychological phenomenon where our expectations shape our reality. Have you ever let someone else's casual remark turn into your own personal haunting? Type "I shape my reality" in the comments if you're ready to take back control. Next, we descend into the abyss of pareidolia, our brain's relentless desire to find patterns in randomness. You see a face in the static of an old TV, a menacing figure in the clouds, or hear a whisper in the wind. This isn't a message from another dimension. It's your brain doing its job too well. It's hardwired to recognize faces and familiar shapes for survival. But when we're anxious or primed for fear, this ability goes into overdrive, creating phantoms out of thin air. It's a cognitive bias that can make the mundane seem malevolent. When was the last time your mind played tricks on you, turning a coat on a chair into a shadowy figure? Comment "I see" with clarity to affirm your command over your perceptions. Now, let's confront the demon of sleep paralysis. You wake up, unable to move, a heavy pressure on your chest, and a terrifying presence lurking in the room. This experience feels undeniably real and demonic. However, it's a well-documented neurological event. It occurs when your brain wakes up before your body, which remains in the REM stage of sleep where muscles are paralyzed. The frightening hallucinations are known as hypnopompic hallucinations, a dream state bleeding into reality. The demon is a projection of your deepest fears, manifested in a state of extreme vulnerability. Have you ever mistaken a trick of the brain for a genuine entity? If you're choosing to understand over fear, type "My mind is my sanctuary." From the paralysis of the body, we move to the paralysis of the will, a phenomenon I call psychic vampirism. This isn't about literal bloodsuckers, but about people who drain your emotional and mental energy. They thrive on drama, constantly play the victim, and leave you feeling exhausted, anxious, and depleted after every interaction. You might feel a dark energy around them, but what you're actually sensing is a pattern of toxic, manipulative behavior. As Alfred Adler theorized, individuals may develop tactics to gain a sense of significance, even if it's by draining others. Who in your life leaves you feeling spiritually empty? Recognize this pattern by typing "I protect my energy." The fifth illusion is the echo chamber of fear. This happens when you get caught in a feedback loop of negativity, often online. You watch one scary video and algorithms feed you 10 more. You join a paranormal forum where every member reinforces the belief in dark forces, sharing stories that amplify collective anxiety. This constant exposure creates a shared delusion, a manufactured reality where demons are not only real, but everywhere. It's a form of operant conditioning, where your fear is repeatedly reinforced, making it stronger and more believable. Have you ever fallen down a rabbit hole of fear, where every click made the world seem darker? Break the cycle and comment, "I choose my focus." Let's venture deeper into the sixth trap, the projection of the shadow self. According to Carl Jung, the shadow contains all the parts of ourselves we deny and repress, our anger, our envy, our darker impulses. When we refuse to acknowledge these parts, we don't destroy them. We project them onto others or the world around us. That demonic presence you feel might be your own unacknowledged rage or guilt taking on a monstrous form. It becomes an external entity you can fight, rather than an internal conflict you must resolve. Have you ever blamed an outside force for feelings that were actually coming from within? Embrace your whole self and type, "I integrate my shadow." Finally, we arrive at the seventh and most insidious illusion, the gaslighting ghoul. This is when someone deliberately manipulates you into questioning your own sanity, making you feel like you're imagining things or going crazy. They might subtly move objects and deny it, or convince you that events you clearly remember never happened. This psychological abuse can be so disorienting that you start to believe a paranormal force is messing with you. Because the alternative, that someone you trust is intentionally harming you, is too painful to accept. It's a calculated tactic to gain power and control. Has anyone ever made you doubt your own perception of reality? Reclaim your truth and right, "I trust my intuition." Recognizing these psychological demons is the first step toward your own awakening. These aren't just interesting concepts, they are tools for self-defense. By understanding how suggestion, projection, and manipulation work, you take power away from the phantoms and place it back where it belongs, within you. You learn to guard your psyche, to question what you see and feel, and to differentiate between a genuine mystery and a manufactured illusion. This self-awareness is your shield. It doesn't make the world less mysterious, but it makes you less vulnerable. You become the master of your own mind, no longer a puppet to its tricks or the manipulations of others. The true haunting is not a ghost in your house, but a lack of awareness in your own mind. By bringing these hidden psychological truths into the light, you reclaim your power and fortify your spirit. The real exorcism is an awakening. If this journey into the dark side of the psyche has opened your eyes, then like this video and subscribe to Dark Side Reveal. Don't let the learning stop here. Comment below with the phrase that empowered you the most, and click on the next video to continue uncovering the hidden truths that shape our world. The darkness holds knowledge. Let's face it together.